Hi, I'm Emily, and this is the story about how I ended up in the hospital. Looking back, I can't help but remember the wise words of my sweet old sewing teacher in freshman year. Be careful with the sewing machines, she said. Despite what you may think, they can do some damage. In that moment, I remember thinking to myself, what is she going on about? Maybe if we were in metalwork or woodwork, we'd be listening to the whole classic safety speech, but this was sewing, where we were going to learn to embroider and make pillow pets, maybe make a quilt if we were feeling crazy. You know, prepare for grandmahood. What was the worst that could happen? Shaking my head, I simply said to myself, yeah, I think I'll be fine. Maybe if I'd kept her warning in mind 2 years later, I wouldn't have ended up in the hospital for the most stupid reason ever. Fast forward to December 20th, 2018. I looked outside the window and saw the dark, stormy sky pouring rain. The flashing lightning and rumbling thunder were interrupting my train of thought and distracting me from my work. Shivering from an almost 40 degrees Celsius fever that caused me to stay home from school that day, I was attempting to finish off sewing a quilt that I was so excited to give my mother for Christmas. Yeah, I really should have just stayed in bed. See, there I was, sweating through my many hoodies, multiple pairs of socks, and numerous blankets, shaking like a leaf. My whole body was aching as if I had just run a marathon. I felt a pounding in my head knowing a migraine was coming on, and was in a constant state of feeling like I was going to pass out. Yet, I was determined to finish my mother's gift, not knowing about all of the blood, sweat, and tears that were soon to come. I was now on the final stretch of the quilt, sewing around the edges of the rectangular blanket. I was gliding down the first side, second side, third side. I watched in the dim light as the sewing machine pushed its sharp needle up and down, punching holes through the thick fabric. Then, it happened. I saw the broken sewing needle, looked to my hand, then saw the blood pool out of my flesh. After that, everything was a frantic blur. I stumbled out of my bedroom and down the hallway into the kitchen where I was met with confused stares from my mom and dad.
Emily, what in the world happened to you? Are you okay?
Emily, did you hurt yourself? You're bleeding.
Half hysterically laughing, half freaking out, I explained my situation. My dad quickly drove me to the hospital. All I could think about while sitting in the nauseatingly bright hospital hallway waiting for my x-ray results was how easily this all could have been avoided. I was so close to being finished with the quilt. I was only a few centimeters away from it all being done, but my finger just had to slip right under the needle, causing the sharp iron nail to go right through mine, breaking into pieces and punching a hole right through to the other side of my hand. What a crazy night.